Hello, my wonderful lovelies. My name is Jenny, and welcome to my channel and part 2 of me talking about my mental health. So, I didn't know when I made part 1 that there was going to be a part 2, but then when I was editing it, I was like, you know what, I really didn't go into a whole lot of detail. I was kind of like, a combination of like, okay, I tell them all this, gotta tell them all this, but I kind of want to go into a little more detail so that maybe I can help. I'm slouching, so maybe I can help some other people of telling you how I was before I got help, how it came to be, how I was when I was younger, when I was begging for help, and some of the things that kind of led up to how things kind of led up to that. Today I am all over the place. I am rapid cycling to hell today. Just let you know that. So I might be talking fast. I might be kind of going back and forth. So I'm going to ask for forgiveness before I even get started because I have no idea where I'm going to be in this video. My husband is mowing, so I'm not sure if I'll get through the whole video or whether there'll be multiple cut ends to where you might not even see this full face. I'm not sure yet. And it's not a full face, but I had to get some lipstick on. Didn't even do my hair today. I just combed it and was like, okay, here we go. And the reason is, it's because I woke up in a down mood. This is why I'm rapid cycling. I want to kind of explain that to you a little bit. I woke up and I was pretty depressed when I woke up. No reason, just that's me. Part of the whole bipolar rapid cycling mixed episodes kind of thing that I go through. That lasted about probably 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, did I scare you? Yeah, I scared myself sometimes. I had a mania that hit, like majorly hit. I was bouncing off the walls to where I was literally running around in the garage in circles. It was bad, like it was really, really bad. And I don't know what it hit. I don't know why it hit. I don't know if it's because the new medicine I'm taking since they switched me to Celexa. I started that Friday, and they say sometimes, you know, like in the first few days it hits, you know, sometimes it takes a few days. I don't know if that's what it was or whether it's just one of my weird mania days. I don't know what it was, but it hit, and it was very, very mania. I couldn't sit still. I was talking so fast, I had to stop to keep up with myself. I got excited because my new baby gecko, I had a new baby gecko, my first one of the year born. It hatched out, and a lot of times I'm looking, the reason you see me looking down is I'm watching my camera to see when my husband parks the mower, because then I know he's coming in. A lot of times when my baby geckos are born, they don't start eating right off. This one took its little gecko food. I feed him like a little milkshake type of food that's made for geckos. It took its food amazingly, so I was excited, and that put me even more mania. I was talking to my son Jacob, and that bounced me even more mania, and I was like boom, 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 and now I'm kind of starting to come down a little bit. It is 6:45, so it's finally starting to come down a little bit. But I sat down here, and I put like a little bit of makeup on, and I got something in my eye. Excuse me while I pick my eyes, I'm talking to you. I didn't put any foundation on. I put my Cicapair on, and now I've got the Cicapair drops now. I don't know if you can see that because I don't have my glasses on. But I have those, and I put them on because I have some problem areas, because when I go through major mixed episodes, my skin breaks out really, really bad. I don't know if you guys get that or not. And also, do you guys that have bipolar disorder with mixed episodes, do you guys feel like you have things crawling on you? I don't know if that's, but I feel like I got stuff crawling on my chest and like back in here, like on my face. I don't know if you noticed the other day. I must have been going into a mania stage, but I feel like I have things crawling on my face. It's weird, but that's one of the things the doctor asked me when I started going, is if I feel like I have bugs crawling on me, and I do. So I don't know if you guys out there that go through bipolar disorder, if you get that, but it's really bad today. So that's another way I could tell before we going into a mania stage, is I feel like I have things crawling all over me. It's really weird. Okay, so my backstory, 4 minutes into this video. So I was adopted when I was 5 months old, and I was told right off the bat it wasn't one of them things that I found out. My cat's in my lap. She's chewing on my crystal beads here. My wonderful crystal beads from Zodi Crystals on Instagram. Go check her out. But anyway, I was adopted when I was 5 months old. I was told right away I wasn't You know, I didn't find out when I was, 13 years old, like my fiance back, 24 years ago did. But anyway, and I lived in Maryland. My parents didn't get along well. My dad was an alcoholic and he was an abusive alcoholic, but I blocked all of that out. So I had that mental block. Still do. Don't remember any of it. And apparently it's back in there because I always have this thing about men, and I kind of fight more for myself when it comes to a man than it does a woman. So if I'm put in a corner with a man, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna come out with gloves on. But when it comes to a woman, I don't as much. But with a man, I'm gonna fight you. And that's the way I've always been. So it must have been something I saw. I don't know. I heard some horror stories. I'm not gonna go into that. My dad passed away, so I'm not gonna bring them up, but I did hear some horror stories. When I was 7 years old, my parents divorced, and my mom and I moved to Virginia. My dad kidnapped me. I don't know, I wasn't going to say much, but this plays into things, so I'm going to say this. He kidnapped me right after that. They were still going through the divorce, and he was still drinking. And he picked me up, and he took me for a drive. It wasn't a long kidnap, it was just like a day. And he took me, and I didn't know I was being kidnapped. I thought my dad was coming to get me and taking me for a ride with him. And he kidnapped me. And I remember he took me back, and it might have been the same day, it might have been the next day. Honestly, I don't really remember. I just know he kidnapped me, and he took me, and when he did take me back, he said, "Your mom needs you more than I do right now." And I'm like, okay, got out of the car. And I remember there being a lot of police there, and my mom and dad got into a huge fight, and my grandmother, who was a little 4'11", I'm 5'1". I have osteoporosis, I keep shrinking. But my grandmother jumped in between them, and it caused a really, really bad fight. And then the cops, like, I don't know if they took my dad or something, and I immediately got picked on. Like, from that point in my life on, I got picked on really, really bad for that. And that's when I heard stories about me being kidnapped, and my dad getting taken away by police and all this stuff. And I was lied about that for a long time. Like, for a long, long time, I was lied about a lot of things in my life. My cat got attacked when I was little, and its head got bit off by a German Shepherd. I was told he got hit by a car. I mean, I was protected, like overprotected for a long, long time. So, I found out, the story later on. So my dad stopped drinking. He stopped drinking when I was 8.5 or 9, something like that. And my mom got remarried. She married her like sweetheart when she was little, and we moved in with him. We lived with my grandmother, but we moved in with him when I was 9 years old, when they got married. And he had an older daughter that had gotten married when she was in high school, so that she had gotten married in 1976, and my parents got married in 1977, or if she got married in 77, they got married in 78. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I used to know, May 8th, 1977. Yeah, 77. So, and they also had, I have a sister, a brother, and a younger sister. Well, she's not younger than me, but they were, the youngest. And then I became the baby sister. And my stepfather always called me his daughter from that moment on, and it caused a little bit of problem in the family because my mother was overprotective, and I was also a spoiled brat. Like, I got everything I wanted when I wanted it, and they didn't. They grew up really hard because he was a single dad, and it wasn't good. It didn't set good in the family, but it took time. It took years before I realized I was a spoiled brat. Like, it took a long, long time. Like, until I was in my 20s, 30s maybe, before I realized that I was a spoiled brat. So it took a long time for me to come to that realization, and it took a long time for me to appreciate what I had until I lost it all, and that was when I was older. I'm not getting into this, I will later in this video. It's going to be a longer video, by the way, because it's a lot to get into, and I'm only doing this because I'm trying to help you people that are going through this out there, and I feel that by doing this, I'm not only helping you guys, but it helps me to kind of to get through this as well. So I'm hoping that there's people out there that I'm touching by doing these videos, because that's the reason I started this channel, was to help people. I started by helping with my breast cancer journey, and then it just kind of went on to mental health, and then with my makeup and stuff, it just kind of blossomed from there. And I know I'm just a small channel, but I hope that I can reach people out there. So anyway, and I do have trouble remembering things, so I have to sit here and say anyway a whole lot. So there was a lot of strife in the family because I was spoiled. A lot of fights. My stepfather and I fought a lot, and I think that's why I miss him so much, is because we had such a rocky relationship, but he taught me so much. He passed away 2 years ago in May, and also the month that my nephew died. So it was really hard, and it still is. I have his little bit of his ashes here. They gave me a little bit in a small urn when he passed away, and I still have days where I go down there, and I have my dad's ashes. I have all his ashes. So I still go down there and talk to him, and I still have moments to where I'll look at his picture and I'll just lose it. And for some reason, I was close to my mom. Like, I was my mom. My mom was my best friend, but I miss my stepdad more. And I think it's just because we had a relationship to where I would tell him things first before I told my mom. I would, and it's because he was there. My mom worked nights all day. Like, she worked like 12-hour shifts as a waitress. But I was the stepchild in my head, you know what I mean? But they were my brother and sisters, always growing up, because I didn't have any brothers and sisters. I had a sister that lived in Maryland for a while, they moved to Florida, so I really didn't have that. I was told there was other siblings, but I didn't know. I was adopted at 5 months. So for years in school, I was the short one. I think I was, like 4 something, and I went to like 5'2" before I shrank as an old girl here. And I was tiny, I think I weighed, when I was in 6th grade, I weighed 60 pounds. And I remember that because I remember getting on the scales. And that's just part of my whole anorexia journey, is that I remember that. And like in 8th grade, I weighed, like 80 pounds. And my friend Dolores always taught me, she's my best friend for the longest time. Well, she's still my best friend, we just grew up as best friends. And she always used to tell me I was anorexic. And I've talked about this in my anorexia video. If you go back and look at my eating disorder video, then you'll find that. But she used to always tease me about being anorexic because I never, ever would let myself go above 98 pounds in high school, because that's what my mom weighed. And I still believe to this day she was anorexic, because she would spit her food out. She would chew it and then spit it out. And that's what she told me to do. If you want to lose weight, just chew it until you get the taste, then spit it out. I never knew there was a problem with that. And I always believed that anorexia was just, if you make yourself throw up, which I don't. I literally could stick a tractor and tailor to my throat. I have no gag reflex. I can stick a tractor and tailor to my throat. So I don't do that. So I didn't know there was such thing as restricted eating anorexia until 2019. So I never, I was like, yeah, whatever, But that's just the way I was, and I didn't know there was a problem. So I got picked on for being too tiny. And you'd think that would make me go the opposite direction, but it didn't. And I think it's because I like the attention, because I got picked on so much. And any kind of attention I got, I would just like gravitate toward it. Like, oh, I'm getting attention, so I need to keep doing this to get attention. And I think it just, that maybe it's one of the reasons why the anorexia came back. Because anytime I lose control in my life over something, like when my stepdad died, it was like I lost control because I couldn't do anything about it. So I went back into the anorexia again. Like when my mom died, same thing. Anytime anything in my life I lose control of, I go back into that. And when I was in school, that's when the bipolar started. As soon as I went through puberty is when I remember the bipolar starting. Before that, it may have, I just don't remember it. I got migraines at the exact same time, so it all kind of started when I was 12 years old. And I always wanted to fit in. Like, that was part of the whole bipolar disorder. I always wanted to fit in. I always wanted to belong. And with my mom being so overprotective, God love her, God rest her soul, she wouldn't let me do a lot of things that I wanted to do. She wouldn't let me go on a lot of the trips I wanted to go on. She wouldn't let me do a lot of the school activities I wanted to do. So I never got into those groups of things I wanted to do. I did a lot. I mean, I was in a lot of clubs and stuff like that. But I never got to do the things I wanted to do. I never got to do sports and things I wanted to do. So I always felt like I was shielded, so it just kind of messed with me. I would like act out so much. I would break things. I would break mirrors if my hair was out of place. One piece of hair would be out of place, and I would lose it. Like, I would go into total fits. And she always told me that she thought, when I finally came out to her, I was like, Mom, something's wrong, and she would be like, yeah, whatever, you're just a teenager. And she would blow it off because she didn't believe in mental problems. And when I finally got diagnosed at 33, I printed everything out on the computer, took it to her, laid it on the table, and left. She called me that evening crying, and she told me she just thought I was a teenager acting out because she didn't understand the whole thing with mental illness. So I know I'm bouncing around here, and I apologize. Hope you can follow what I'm talking about. But I was asking for help, you know, as a kid. I'm like, you know, something's wrong with me, you know, because I would like bounce around. I'd be so depressed, and then I would be bouncing off the walls and be the happiest kid, and they would just tell me, oh, because you got what you wanted. But that's not what it was. I wanted help so bad, and nobody would give it to me, and I would act out, you know, I would act out to try to get that help. I remember one time my stepdad and I got in such a bad fight, and he yelled at me, like majorly, like yelled at me, and I can't even remember what it was over. But I went back to the bedroom, guys. I was very suicidal. I went back to the bedroom, and I took, remember, I don't know if you remember those, they still have them, but the things that hold your sheets down that you put on one end to the other, and it holds your sheets underneath your mattress. I took them and I wrapped them around my neck and laid on the corner of my bedroom, and I put them as tight as I could get them. And I guess for some reason he must have came back to check on me, and he pulled them off me, and he started cussing me out, you know, like, what the F you think you're doing, you know? But it was just a cry for help, and I wasn't trying to really be completely suicidal. I just did suicidal things. Another time, no, my husband's coming in. I'm probably gonna have to stop this video. I will. I'll have to stop it. But there was another time where I took a whole bottle of like Tylenol, aspirin, but they always caught me. Either I threw up from it or something. But there was always something. But I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to try to finish it another day, so you will see a different outfit. But I'm going to stop here, and I'll continue it again. But that's as far as I'm going to go now, and I'll write like myself little notes. I don't forget where I left off. But I'll see you, you know, another clip. You'll see a different look. Okay, I'll be back. I know, you'll see me catch one. I don't think you want to see that arm. The kitty was laying on it. Hello, my lovelies. I'm here again. Almost said welcome to my channel, but this is the second part of where I left off yesterday. It just takes me a while. So as you can tell, we're here again. I was going to put earrings on, but I forgot. Just remember, as you can tell, different shirt, different semi-makeup. I got my stick-on eyebrows. If you wonder when I talk about my eyebrows, these are the eyebrows I use right here. I get them off Amazon. Sometimes I draw them on, but I just got these the other day. So what you saw brow-wise yesterday and what you see today are these, and this is what they look like. Totally off subject, but I wanted to share with you. That's what they look like. And they just stick on with water. Pretty cool. Style number 9, color brown. Anyway, as you can tell, it's different. I washed my sheets yesterday, which, you know, you saw yesterday, they were like piled up on the bed because I had that energy to do so. So we're going to get right back to what I was talking about. I left off yesterday. I'll give myself little notes I remember about the suicidal tendencies I had growing up. Some of the things that led to that, you know, the picking, the teasing, not feeling like I fit in anywhere. And I have that through my adulthood a lot. I've been suicidal for years, so that's a good thing. My God got me through a lot of that, and I still have issues to where I don't do the why God anymore, because I know God has got me through a lot of that. I know a lot of you don't believe, and that's fine. I don't press and push my religion on anybody, because I believe that that's not what, you know, a lot of people believe God wants that, and I don't believe that. I think God wants a relationship with you, and it's up to you to get that relationship. That's just the way I believe. And a lot of people don't believe that way, and that's fine with me. So some of the things I want to talk about, I had to write myself a note so I wouldn't forget, because my brain still forgets things. So I had to write it down. So going through high school, I still got picked on a lot, and I couldn't stand up for myself a lot. I had a group of friends that I stuck with. Michelle and Dolores and I were the 3 musketeers. You know, where you saw us is where we always were. And I had other friends through school. A lot of them I'm still friends with via Facebook, because thank God for Facebook, or I wouldn't have been able to keep up with them. But Michelle and Dolores and I were like literally the 3 musketeers. We were the closest friends all the way through school, like 8th grade and on. Dolores I knew in 6th grade, Michelle met in 7th grade. So we were always friends, and we're still friends to this day. And I'm very thankful for them, because they got me through a lot of crap going through school. But I still had that wanting to be accepted by people And unfortunately, I still have that. And I still have that, like, wanting to get everyone's approval. And I know at 53, almost a few weeks, that I shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't feel like I need everybody's approval. And I do, and it's horrible. Like, when I do a makeup look, or when I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, hair's out of place, you know, I gotta make sure I do this because people are gonna see it. And I shouldn't care. And sometimes I don't. Like, you know, I get on here, like, I've gotten so much better. In the beginning, I had to make sure I had my makeup on, and now I don't care. You know, I put lipstick on because it makes me feel good. But you see me without makeup, and 2 years ago, that would never happen at all, ever. I get on Instagram, I don't have makeup on, I do skincare on there. That would never have happened 2 years ago, and that is because of you. Every single one of you out there, everyone out there on Instagram has made me feel more comfortable in my own skin that allows me to do that. So that has helped my mental health immensely, like immensely. So this channel, my Instagram, has helped me get through a crap ton of things that without that, I wouldn't have had that. So you guys out there that are trying to decide whether you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to start, you know, doing things, come out and like talk about things, I encourage you to. However, I've been told, you know, you're going to get hate, you're going to get bad comments, and sometimes that messes with you even more. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that as they come in. And I know they're coming. It could come, you know, in this video. I don't know. Because my exterior, I put a good front on, but inside I've been screaming. Inside I'm crying. And I don't always show that. Sometimes you do see it here. My nephew's video is a good example of that. And sometimes you see it, and sometimes I hide it because I don't want people to see that. You know, I don't want people to know that. And that's why I've always put a smile on my face, you know, for, I don't know, 40 some years. When I found out, you know, that something was really wrong with me. Growing up, I didn't really have a support system besides, you know, my friends, and I even hid it from them. You know, I hid it from them. So I didn't really have that support system. So I'm hoping you guys will ask for help so that you get the support system you need. Please don't hide. Please don't feel ashamed. It's nothing to be ashamed of. That's why I come on here and talk about this. Some other things that I had growing up was when I got married to my first husband. We had a rocky start, like right away. The reason I got married is because I wanted the hell out of my house. I just had to get away. I just felt like that maybe if I got married and got away, I would get the help I need, and I didn't. We didn't have a good marriage. Admittedly, I cheated, and I still think he did too, like toward the end. I don't know. Don't have any proof. I just think he did. And, you know, I gave him good reason to. And I admit, you know, I admit what I did. Everybody knew it, so why not admit to you guys too? I was horrible, a horrible human. I wasn't getting help, so that's one of the things I did to try to like get out of things, to get out of the relationship. I figured if I hurt someone else, then that would mean that I was hurting, they're gonna hurt too. And that's not right. That's not good. And again, suicidal tendencies. I would cut my wrist, but not far enough down to do anything. I was just trying to have someone say, yeah, you need help, you need to go to the hospital, whatever, and no one would do anything. It was so bad, guys. It just, nobody would hear me. And I would do stupid shit to get hurt, and nobody would hear me. And then we got divorced a couple years after we got married. I was 18 when I got married. You know, just, you know, wasn't good. And then I met my second husband shortly after that. Like, we were still going through our divorce. Like, we weren't together, but I mean, it took a while to get divorced, like 2 years to get divorced. So I met my second husband. He was my friend's brother, and we met, and like everybody in my family fell in love with him. And I'm like, okay, I need to marry him. Everybody likes him. I'm going to get liked more if I marry him. So we got married. And then I had my son Ryan. He's my oldest son. A couple years after we got married. And we had a pretty decent marriage at first, and then it fell apart because of me, because I just was a Looney Tune. You know, I don't know how to put it. I would throw stuff, I would scream, I would yell, I'd push him away. I mean, there were some things on his side too, but a lot of it was mine. He was very controlling. He didn't like it if I talked to people too much. He didn't like it if I had male friends. He didn't like clothes I wore. It was really rough, so that didn't work out. We got divorced. And then I was seeing people in between. Our marriage was right at the end, and I would start seeing people at the end. So once again, I effed that up. So I actually start seeing another friend's brother, and we had an amazing relationship until the last few months, and then it became violent. He got a little violent, I got violent, and that wasn't good for either one of us. And it became the opposite. He left me, and I've always left everybody. No one besides a boyfriend that I had in high school had ever left me before, and that was like weird. Like, it's like, no, you're not supposed to leave me. I'm supposed to leave you. I'm supposed to hurt you. No one's supposed to do that to me. And he did, and I fell apart. Like, literally, where I worked at the time, I was on the floor crying all the time. I mean, it was pathetic. It was really, 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 really bad. And my bipolar was, the depression kicked in. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And that's when I met my third husband, who I'm married to now. My mom had been trying to set me up with him for a long time. Like, literally trying to set me up with him when I was dating the other guy, because the other guy was 9.5 years younger than me. We're on good terms now. Like, we are on good terms. We, every once in a while, we're talking on Facebook, because we're like, he's across the country, but we're on good terms now. My mom would like try to set me up with him. I'm like, Mom, come on, you know, don't do that. And we even got engaged and everything, and Mom would still try to set me up. His mom would come into where I worked and be like, you know, Mike, I'm like, oh my God, would you all stop? Because his mom did my mom's hair for like, 20, 30 years, and they just tried, and I'm like, no, he's not my type, no, leave it, And when this guy left me, it was like immediate, you gotta go out with him, you gotta go out with him. I'm like, fine, leave me alone, I'll go out with him. And immediately, I saw my life with him. Has it been easy? Hell no, it has not. We've been through hell, but it makes us appreciate each other more. Have we wanted to walk out on each other? Yes. Yes, because I wasn't getting help at first. A couple years into it, I did. Has it been easy with the help that I've gotten? Nope, has not. Has it been easy financially? Nope. Filed bankruptcy 2 times. Has it been easy as far as family ties? Nope. So none of it's been easy. We've had our ups and downs on a daily. But you know what? I wouldn't have changed any of it. I wouldn't have changed any of the hardship, because it makes us appreciate the things along the way. If we would have had an easy relationship, everything was fine and dandy, and for you it might be totally different. We wouldn't have appreciated each other the way that we do. We wouldn't have appreciated the things that we have, even though we've lost a lot of things. I wouldn't have had this, because he bought me this camera. He bought me everything that I have to do with this, because I don't work. I haven't been able to work since I had cancer, like, at all. They won't let me, especially now with the epilepsy. I can't even drive a car anymore. So I wouldn't have had this without him, because he supports this. Even when I felt like giving up, he's like, yeah, do whatever you want, but I don't think you should. And sometimes he's been like, he has, and you've seen my videos if you've been here, he has been like, I don't think you should do this anymore, because you're not getting anywhere with this. And then I've had friends, like my friend Marissa has taught me back into it, like, you can't. People want you here. People need to hear your message, and that's why I'm still here. And there are days, I had a couple the other day that I'm like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. So I gotta keep keeping on, But getting back to when I met Mike, this is where some of you guys are gonna be like, holy shit. When I met Mike, I had just came out of the Army. I went in for basic training, broke my pelvic bone. When I fractured it, it was like this close, like literally told me that close to being a complete, total break. Basic training, I freaking loved. I was 26, 27 when I went in basic training. Loved it, like so much fun. Like I had more fun there than I ever had in my entire freaking life. It was so much fun. I know that's probably crazy to hear, but it really, really was. So I was in Army basic training, did my pelvic bone going down Victory Tower in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Didn't tell anybody. I'm like, I gotta graduate. I gotta make my dad proud, my stepdad and my dad. My dad was always proud of me, always was his baby girl. But my stepdad was in the Marines, and I wanted him proud of me. I wanted him proud of me my entire life. So I had to graduate, and I wanted to graduate, and I did. In pain, but I did. And then I came home for Christmas, and I didn't want to go back because I was home. Didn't want to go back, and my stepdad said, come on, Bibbs, call me Bibs. That's what his way of saying babes. You gotta go back. You gotta finish this. You'll be AWOL if you don't. You can do this. And he patted my leg, and I went back. And that's when that little bit of a break I had going back, it hurt so bad, guys. Like, it hurt to put pants on, to put underwear on. It hurt so bad. And that's when they found, because they didn't find it before because I didn't tell anybody, they found it. And they were like, you can't continue this, because if you get a solid break across, you're going to be in traction. So we got to send you home. And I'm like, you can't. So they let me continue to go through my classes. I had, you know, A+ average, and then they start processing me out, and they said, okay, you got to discontinue everything you're doing. So they put me on, you know, to where I couldn't do anything at all. Then they had me like lifting mattresses. I'm like, what? They had me scrubbing floors. What? Like KP duty and stuff. You stupid, you know? So anyway, they processed me out, and I literally left like right before graduation. If I'd have been there 2 weeks later, I'd have graduated. So they sent me home, and they were like, oh, you shouldn't have been allowed in because you have flat feet. So we're not going to do anything for you. So I came home with nothing. So it was almost like I got my graduation for basic training, but didn't get anything else. So that depressed me even more. So then I came home, and that's when I was still with my other guy. And then the January after that is when he left, and then I met Mike like right after that. And then we, like I said, hit it right off. We got together on Valentine's Day, and then we knew right away we want to get married. This is what we want. And then we got married that May. And then a month later, we got pregnant with Jake. And then while I was away in basic training, my sister, get ready, married my ex-husband. At first, it was weird. It was like so weird for the first like year. I mean, it was really, really weird. When I was going through pregnancy, the first like 6 months of Jake, it was hell. It really, really was. I'm not gonna lie. And my sister can tell you, my ex-husband can tell you, anybody can tell you, it was hell. And people were like, what the, what? That's so weird. And people still do. But you know what? It has been the biggest blessing that could have ever happened. My sister and I got so close because of this, because of the dynamics of her raising my son, because I was, you know, in a bad place and I couldn't do it. I was like in a really bad place. And having her, knowing that she raised two amazing kids, and knowing that it's her and not some bimbo off the street that I never would have, probably been like a really nasty relationship. It just made me feel good knowing that I could still trust her no matter what. I know it sounds weird, but it just gave us a really good relationship. And I'm in a better relationship now with my ex-husband than when I was married to him. You know, as weird as it may sound, but I am. And he and Mike get along so well. Like when we go over to their house, which that's one of the reasons I moved down here, was to be close to my son and be close to my sister. That's the only reason I changed states and moved down here, going through cancer treatments. I didn't want to be where we were. It was in a gated community. You had to like sign in to get in. So if something happened to me, it would take them forever to get through the gate. Like sometimes it took 20 minutes to get through that gate. Here, 10 minutes down the road. So when we go down to their house before the virus hit, we could just go down, you know, like we went down every few weeks, have cookouts. Those two will talk for hours. They get along so well. So it's been a big, big blessing. So once I got through all of that, and then, you know, Mike and I had like a really rough start because we got married, you know, a couple months after we got together. Whether we knew each other or not, you know, through our parents, we still had a really rough relationship. And after I had Ryan, I went into postpartum depression. After I had Jake, I went into a deep, deep, deep postpartum depression. It was really, 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 really bad, guys. Like, it was so, so bad. Like, there was times where poor Jake just would cry forever, and I was nursing him, and he just would like throw up all over me, and I just didn't want anything to do with them. Same thing with Ryan. Like, they both had so much milk, they would both throw up all over me. But with Jake, I was just like, you know, here, you take him, you take him, you take him. Mike worked nights and in the mornings. I just didn't want anything to do with either one of them, you know, just like, get away from me. I woke up at night and just would scream and cry in the middle of the night, and like nobody was there for me. It was bad. And that's when I started seeing a therapist, and that therapist, like I said, worked with me for months, and that's when I started all these medications. And if you saw the first part 1 of my video, go back and look at that, which I'll put it at the end of my video. That way you can see part 1. And I'm not going to tag it because then you have to leave the video, so I'll just put it at the end. And like I said, this video is very, very long, and I apologize for that, but I need to get all this out, guys. she just kept like trying different medicines, and then she sent me to a medical doctor, and that medical doctor was doing the same thing. You know, every 6 months, different medicine. Every 6 months, different medicine. Then it went to like every 3 months. I'm like, look, you guys are a guinea pig with me. I'm the guinea pig with you. Find a medicine that works. I need something that works, please. And, you know, this stuff is not doing what it needs to do after a couple of months. And that's when they sent me to the psychiatrist, like I said before, you know, and they finally got something that worked. But then I started having issues with those medicines. It took forever to get me on the right medicines. And then, you know, I finally found the right medicines, and then I went through a couple other things, and then like another medicine wouldn't work. And then after I finally got on the right medications, cancer hit. And being on those medications also did not help my libido very good. So that's one of the things that's really bad about the medications I was on. It's really hurt us sexually, and a lot of it is because I had some issues physically, and I went through hysterectomy, which just, you know, I went through chemo. So that's one thing that there are still issues with, and I know I tell you everything. I'm going to tell you everything, so get used to that on my channel. I do. But when cancer hit, it destroyed a lot of my self-esteem. But I had that in my mind that like I've said in the last video, this is what I gotta do, this is what I gotta do, this is what I gotta do, this is what I gotta do. And when it ended, bam. And there's something that I've been neglecting to tell you because it's really hard to talk about. And I haven't really talked about this. I think I might have said it once. But there's some people out there that I know this will help. So, okay.